So this is the first bit. Turn the stock down to the diameter we want. And I usually do enough at one time to get two out of. Just see what we got there. Yep, spot on. Put my little homemade tool into it. I'm just zeroing the travel dial off the end, and we put a mark in. This is where we're going to part it off when we've done the other bits, and we come up for this will be the bottom of the thread. The relief for the thread. You've got a dweller pause, there's a bit of flex in it, so you need to wait for the excess aluminium to come off. And we've got to take it down with a thread size. Again, still need to go over a couple of times to get rid of that spring in it. Now the O-ring groove. It's all done on numbers. I haven't got a DRO, so I'm having to use the blade setting. First couple of the day are always slow, just getting going. Right, let's see how that looks. Missed a bit. Sorry, I was holding an O-ring in my mouth. Couldn't talk then. When this little tool I've made is not very great, but it does the job. But it does mushroom it out a little bit, so you just got to tidy it back up again. That's it. Bit of a lead on for the die to start on. Yeah, get on there. Sorry you can't see this bit, it's just the camera angle's wrong and my hand has to get in the way here. This is the hard bit, finger on the off button. Back it out. I'm just doming the end off. There's not a lot of space and it goes up into the recess left by the drill, so it needs a little bit of a shape there. What next? What colour will we have next? So these have already been drilled and tapped. I did that yesterday, but I forgot the video camera, so you didn't get to see that. But I got a still, I think, at the beginning. So these are already tapped out. test fit, make sure we screw up nicely. Yeah, come back here. I'll put a bit of Loctite on. That's thread lock. Because we don't want them coming off once we get them on. That's it. Now we can part it off. Just wipe off any excess. This Loctite's water soluble, so it'll wash off when we clean it up. Just check the fit again. Yep, nice and tight, but not too tight. Okay, so this is the next bit. What we're doing here is drilling the hole up the centre for the vapour to come through. Sorry if I keep bumping the camera. The tripod's in an awkward place when I'm using the tailstock on the lathe. So when I shoot it backwards it tends to knock into a leg. First bit's done locked like this. Once we get through the aluminium, clear it off. Now we can just push it through the polyester or acrylic, depending on which one it is. This one's a polyester. You can tell because it comes as dust in the flutes. That's it, through. That's us. That's another bit done. Right, on with the fun bit. This lane's a bit noisier than the other one, but we'll see if you can hear me over this. So this is where we do the shaping and most of the polishing. As you can see, it's all done by hand. Again, the two materials work completely differently. This is a polyester. You see how it's coming off in ribbons. Annoyingly, most of the time you're working half blind because the polyester's obscured the job. I've got to be careful to leave a bit of meat here, because as you saw earlier, this is where the connection is. sort of watch the silhouette, you know, this side of the job, you get a better idea of how the shape's coming. Don't look where the tool is, look on the other side. Almost there. Just now looking for anything that doesn't look right. An angle that's too sharp, or a curve that doesn't flow nicely. Something still not happy with it. This is where I can lose it completely. Remember, we've got a 2.5mm hole up the middle of this, so at this point there's not a lot of wall. It will stick at that. So the polishing's done wet. We start off with a fairly coarse grit. So gets dipped into the water and then across. This stuff's foamed back, so it's good for washing the slurry off. Have a little look, see if there's anything obvious I don't like. Although any small marks don't really normally show up until we get the polish a bit finer yet. Looks okay. So now we start to get the finish, and we start with 1500 grit. Can you see that? 1500. Obviously the plastic's underneath to stop the water going onto the lathe bed. It's either cast iron or cast steel on this lathe, and it rusts as soon as look at it when there's any water around. So the whole lot gets covered in WD-40 first before I start, and then we use the plastics to keep the worst of it off. So now we've got 9 grades of grit to drop down through. You don't spend long with each one, just long enough to get rid of the worst of the marks and the one before, but it does take quite a bit of time. This one's 3000 grit, well, 3200 to be precise. Where are we at now? 4000 grit. Each time I change, you know, each time my hand moves away, I'm changing to a lesser one. That was 6,000. This one's 8,000 grit. And last but not least, this is 12,000. So we're dealing with 1 micron size at this point. Dry it off a bit. So, you know, you won't see for a minute. Hang on. My turn. I need to see this. I'm just having a look with the magnifier to make sure there's no marks. I can't see with my naked eye. No, that looks alright. We'll call that one good. Pretty one, that. That's called Orange Tigris. There you go. Oh, sorry about that. There you go. Well, that's how we make the turning on a drip tip. So now we've got to finish the top end off, but we do that on the other lathe, so I'm going to turn a few more first. I couldn't resist letting you have a look at another one. How about that? That's Toxic Green. How about that one? That's a pretty one.